So maybe pre-planning that sometime come around the early September timeframe. So it just gives us 4 to 5 months to plan. I know I got an email from the elementary school that's at Cleveland and Metropolitan, and I was unable to make it to that, but still, if I would have known about it more than 48 hours of notice that the company gave to me to go to it, I probably would have went. So I think it's good for our citizens to recognize that as a day of service. So, Holly Stevens had mentioned the need for artists for the Cinco de Mayo Festival on the 5th of May, if you didn't know. So if you know any connections, route them to her.
Love it. Yeah,
Sorry, Holly Lovins, thank you. I think her email address is still incorrect though.
No, it's Stevens. What?
That's probably it.
No, you are correct on that.
Sorry about that. I let Mr. O'Neill know that there's model legislation from Dahlonega for the General Assembly regarding the 8%, and he came back and said that they have a legislative council approved edition already to go. So I guess if tomorrow they can introduce that, that would be.
I don't know about introduction, but the legislative council said that they'll need a copy of the minutes from tonight's meeting where it was approved.
Okay.
After that, it will go up the chain to the legislative council to make sure everything looks good. They'll submit it to us. We sign off on it. Then we'll coordinate with Senator Warrock and Representative Dreyer and about having it dropped as soon as possible.
All right. Thank you. I think possibly an early March discussion, and this might be Tim right through Lee. But sort of in discussion with Mr. Thomas Callaway. He is a council member in East Point. I was talking to him about curbside recycling and the ability to offset our solid waste, and also the possibility for us to get rid of the eyesore that sometimes becomes the Republic Services dumping area near the ball fields. So I'd like to see if our procurement policy for the city allows us to piggyback off of another city to do curbside, and if that's a possibility, if we could bring that up as a discussion. And again, this is not talking about doing away with our solid waste services that currently exist. It's just trying to have an addendum. But I think with the reduction of solid waste stream and diverting that to a fee-based curbside recycling, we might actually be able to reduce our budget of what we have to pay to actually dump that waste. So it might actually be a win-win and all.
I believe Thomas said the other day that they use Republic.
They do.
Republic Service.
Republic.
And I have Monica's number at Republic if you'd like to. Mentioned earlier the need to review the DRC policy for city design projects.
I think that those are policy items that I think we need to have a retreat sometime in February or early March.
Okay.
And it would be a good time for us to discuss those policies collectively with the council.
Okay.
Because if we're going to change those policies, I think it needs to be from the root, but that's the direction we want to go.
Starting yesterday, the SRTA, Statewide Road and Transit Authority, allowed municipalities of any size to start applying for the Georgia Transportation Infrastructure Bank grant. It can't be matched with state funds, so if we're using state funds to do a transportation project, we can't waive that as extra money. But if we have federal funds or local funds that can match or accompany to get to a dollar point, they said their acceptance rate, I believe, was 43% for grants and 80% for loans. And I think it's 30 days that it's open for, but they mentioned that it would take anywhere from 8 to 20 hours of staff time to complete the application, which is 5 pages.
Yeah, the deadline is the 22nd next month.
So February.
I would like to sort of seek the nod of council. I've been discussing with Don Moreland, just in conversations about renewable energy, what they're doing currently in Atlanta. Don Moreland is over a company called Solar Crowdsource LLC. They brand their project as Solarize X, X being whatever city that they're in. So they did Decatur and Dunwoody about a year ago and got 850 homes, buildings, businesses, government with solar at a reduced cost. They're currently doing Solarize Atlanta as a project, and Aerotropolis is interested in having a discussion with them, branding it as Solarize Aerotropolis. We're the only city in the Tri-Cities area that doesn't have a MEAG as our electric provider, so I'd like to continue the conversation with them and just bring back to y'all what I find out. Neighborhood associations, Moreland Park, there's a renewed interest from a few citizens to reconstitute that neighborhood association, so I'm not sure how that ties into code or if we have to give that a blessing or what needs to happen in that case, but I've been discussing with a few residents that are interested in reconstituting or I guess bringing back from organizational death the current organization. Along that same stream, the Northwoods Neighborhood Association internally amended their map. When I was talking to Lucy Dolan, I said, you know, your address doesn't allow you to be president for NNA, and she's like, oh, we amended that 5 years ago. So I'm not sure, again, as it relates to council's relationship with neighborhood associations, if we should continue to further formalize that relationship or just allow it to be something where one of us just goes to a meeting. So, Governor Dill has a thing that he did at the statewide level, and that many municipalities have started to copy as well, called In the Box. It sort of goes along with criminal justice reform as it relates to applications. I'd like to review that policy to see if we could implement it here in the city. And that's it.
All right, folks, we appreciate y'all coming out tonight. Thank you for being a part of your government. We appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule. We do have executive session tonight for the purpose of real estate. Yes. That's it, real estate. So with that being said, I'll entertain a motion that we go into executive session for discussing real estate matters.
So move.
Second. All in favor of the motion, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. I'll entertain a motion we recess.
So moved.